StrayAllDay.com.
Baldwin, DreAllDay.com, WorkingYourGame.com. Topic today of your daily discipline is repurposed ideas. What repurposed ideas is about is taking something that you have done in the past, whether it was successful, unsuccessful, maybe mediocre, somewhere in the middle, and figuring out how can I repurpose this past activity and this past output and maybe put it to work in a different way that might produce a better output, or at least help you produce the output you want to produce in the current thing that you're doing. So this is basically another way of looking at this is remixing your past behavior to see how it can help you in your future behavior. So I give you a few different ways of looking at this when we say repurposed ideas. So one of the things that many people have done over the years, this is not a new concept. Some of you may not be familiar with it, depending on what worlds you pay attention to. But there are many authors out there who've written books, and their books are basically compilations of articles and blog posts and things that they have written over the years. And just take a bunch of them that are related in some way, and they put them together. They do a little bit of editing on what they wrote in the past. Then they put it together, and it's a book. Boom, your book is done. One of my books, Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This book right here is based on articles that I wrote about how to play professional basketball overseas. It's basically giving people strategies and just helping them understand how the game works overseas. I put them all together and I made it into a book, and boom, the book was done. Another one of my books is Work on Your Game, The Untold Stories. And I framed it exactly as it is. I took a bunch of stories that didn't make it into this book right here, which is titled Work on Your Game. So a bunch of stories that I wanted to put in that book, but it couldn't fit because it was with a traditional publisher and a certain number of words you can write. Everything that didn't fit in there, everything that got left on the cutting room floor, so to speak, I put all of those together and I put it into another book that is literally just a bunch of stories that I didn't get to tell in that book. So those are ways of remixing ideas. And I'll probably have more books in the future where I'm going to do similar things. But you can remix ideas in a lot of different ways. A way that a lot of people do it these days, right here on this application, is let's look at something like YouTube Shorts. What is YouTube Shorts? It's usually a piece of a video that is longer form, less more than a minute, and then somebody just takes a piece of that video out, 60 seconds or less of that video out, and then make it into the short video. And that's basically a YouTube short. Now, of course, you have people who will just make a short just for the purpose of making it a short, but a lot of shorts that you see are just clips of longer videos, right? And there are people on YouTube, for example, they'll put out pieces of a full video. So let's say somebody does an interview, they interview somebody and the interview is 2 hours long. They'll take a little 10-minute clip out of that 2 hour interview, or they'll take a bunch of 10-minute clips out of a 2 hour interview and put those out so people can see the 10-minute clip. And then eventually they'll put out the whole video with the entire interview. But some people just rather see the short piece than see the long piece. Those are different ways of, again, the whole concept is repurposing ideas. Something that anyone can do. Well, not anyone, depending on how much material you have. You got a lot of material out there like I do. You can take a bunch of things that you've created in the past, put them all together, and you can come up with something new just based off of that. So, for example, some of my books that I've written, a different example of some other books that I've written, is I take concepts from videos that I made that got really good responses, and I take those concepts and I write out. I don't take the material from the video itself, but I just write out, okay, people like this, they like these 15 concepts that I made videos about. I'll go right out and explain those concepts in the written word as opposed to on video, put them all together, and now I have a book on topic X, whatever it may be. And I could write 100 books just based off of that framework alone because I have so much material out there when it comes to spoken material, whether that's on video or on audio. But these are all different ways of repurposing ideas. Also, also understand that when it comes to repurposing ideas, you can take any type of execution you've done in the past that didn't quite hit the way you wanted it to, didn't get the response that you wanted it to. Maybe if you repurpose it and use it in a different way, it might get the kind of response that you didn't get the other way. So you might have a 10-minute video on YouTube and it doesn't really take off the way you want it to, but you take 10-second clips from that video, put them all out, and one of those 10-second clips might do better than the full video did just because people just want that one piece. They didn't want the whole thing. Or you could do the opposite. You could take something that you made as a short for 30 seconds, expand it into a longer video, and that thing will take off because people want to see the entire version of it. So I have a couple of those back from my basketball days. I had a video where I did showing people a series of ball handling drills they should do. That video was about 1 minute long. I remember putting it out maybe like 2008, 2009. and the video did pretty well. People liked it. Then eventually, like 3 or 4 years later, I went and took that series that I told people they should do every day, and I showed them me doing that entire series, like drawn out. And it took that video, instead of being 1 minute, that video was about 12 minutes. And that video did even better than the short video. But it was the exact same material. I just made the longer version of it, put it out. I just repurposed the idea and just found a different way of doing it. This is also basically the foundation of what I do now with Work on Your Game. Is when I first started talking about things like mindset, discipline, confidence, and mental toughness. It started because basketball players were asking me about those concepts. So when I started talking about them, the athletes appreciated it, but also people who didn't play sports started hearing me on those videos, and they said, "Well, Dre, I don't play sports, but things you're talking about, that applies to me as well." So I started making more of that content. I just basically repurposed it from talking about how to apply it in sports, and I just talked about how to apply it, period, in life. And this is how I expanded my audience outside of the sports world and start to create my segue into the entrepreneurial world. That's literally what I did and how I got here. So these are all different ways of repurposing ideas. So I want you to take all this to understand that just because you try an idea one way and you got whatever response you got, good, bad, high, low, that you can repurpose that idea, use it in a different way, and you may find that it does better when used in a different way than the original way that you came out with. So the thing you got to understand in the marketing world is that people value things at different levels based on the package that it comes in. So you putting something out as a YouTube video might not get as much response as if you made that same concept into a book, or if you made it into a course, or you made it into a keynote speech or a TED talk. They can be used in different ways depending on how you put them out. So you always want to repurpose your ideas, because one idea could create 10 different hooks that you throw out there. And one of those hooks might be the one that starts to grab the big fish that you want to grab, if you get what I'm saying. So with all that said, make sure you text me so you're getting my daily motivation text I send out every day. My Monday motivation I send out every Monday as well. It's free to join my text community. The number is 305-384-6894. Just send a text message to that number. Down below in the description, you'll be in my text community. Secondly, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's the place where I do all my coaching. That's the place where all my masterminds are. If you would like to work with me directly, the only place to do so is at that place. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link, along with my number, both down below in the description to this video. Hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time we drop a new video on this channel, and work on your game. Dre, all